Plaintiff Dustin Orff has been friends with the defendant since third grade, and when they went off to college, they rented an apartment together. Dustin claims the defendant often invited strangers into their home, which made Dustin feel uneasy, and he's suing his former roommate today for unpaid rent and unreturned property. Defendant Kurt Wachter says Dustin's trying to look like an angel, but the two of them have been arrested together numerous times. Kurt doesn't feel he owes Dustin for the full amount of rent because Dustin always had his girlfriend at their apartment, and he's countersuing for damaged property.
Start with you.
First off, I kind of want to give a little bit of a background. We were friends since the third grade, and we remained friends through high school, and we decided to go to college.
Where at?
Missouri State.
Okay.
In college, he was very seldomly there. He'd skip out of town a lot, come back and forth from Springfield to St. Louis. He'd always be partying whenever he was in Springfield. And we stayed in a pretty bad part of the neighborhood in Springfield where there was different violence, some drug use that was going around us. Well, anyways, so some of the times he would want to stay up late and drink, and I would want to stay inside and just go to sleep so I could go to school.
Okay.
So he'd be staying up until 6 a.m. and he'd invite people in from outside. He'd go out and just make friends with random people and invite them back up into the apartment.
I never met anybody like that.
In that neighborhood. Yeah. All right. That was the issue, huh?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
But we had gotten into fights over inviting people over into the house and stuff like that.
Sir, let me hear from you.
We have been friends for years. Probably since the third grade. We hung out. We'd be out every night. It was actually our MO to get messed up until we got locked up. I won't lie. I mean, we like to go out. We like to get in trouble, get arrested all the time.
Got arrested all the time?
We would,
That's
yeah.
The two of you?
Right. So he wants to put it on. Yeah. We would. I'm putting it like that because he wants to make me seem like the bad guy, but that's not true.
He also wants to make it seem as he's a pure man and it's only in the neighborhoods when there's a problem. But you're telling me you all got arrested.
Plenty of times. I'd say
plenty of times.
At least 15 times. Your Honor, I've probably been arrested at least 15 times. And granted, he wasn't always there, but he was arrested a lot with me. You know, I mean,
go ahead.
You would drag me into that kind of stuff, though.
All right. Your Honor, he wants to say I drag him in. I'll give you a good example. We're driving around, and this car gets right up on our tail end. I don't know what they're angry about, but they're honking. They get in front of us. They cut us off. They get out of the car, and this is right on a busy street. They block us right at the stoplight. Your buddy here just flicked us off, and I'm like, Dustin, stay in the car. I'm for it, and I'm getting out of here, because there's like 5 of them.
He gets out?
He gets out of the car.
And wants to fight?
Four of them get out of the car, one of them stands. So it's like 4-on-1. I can't let him get beat up.
Hold on, but for him to get out of the car, that means he was seeking to engage in violence.
Right.
Violence.
Right.
That's
violence.
Right.
The neighborhood that was all around you with all the violence.
Yeah. That's untrue, though.
He got me beat up that night. I proceeded to get just beaten and beaten. I look over, he's getting beaten and beaten. That's not my fault.
Next time he tries to hop out the car to fight,
I should have floored
either
it.
Grab him, back, or pull off. Now.
Right. Next time.
What else do you want to tell me? About the living conditions. What was the agreement? Because there's a claim of unpaid rent. What was the rent agreement, and why are you suing him for the rent?
The rent agreement was $500 per month.
Mm-hmm.
The months that we're talking about are April, May, and June of 2007. Very seldomly he would even be there, but we had made an agreement that we would both pay $500 a month. On April and May, he had only paid $100. And then in June, he had paid $300. So there was a remaining total of $1,000 that he had still not paid me.
So that's the rent?
That's the rent.
All right. And sir, you want to comment on the rent?
We did agree on $500 a piece that would cover the rent and the utilities. But the agreement is that's for us two living there. He had his girlfriend over there every single night. Her and I did not get along. I mean, the agreement was for us two living there, not for, a live-in girlfriend who's using the electricity, who's using the water there.
Did you ever mention that to him?
Yeah, plenty of times.
And what was his response?
His response was, she has her own apartment. And I said, exactly, so why isn't she there?
Did you ever mention that you don't think you should have to pay the full amount of rent?
Yes, I did. And that's where the $1,000 comes in. I told him that, look, I agree $1,000 is owed to you. But I told him what I would do is for that time that she was there, I wanted to split it on thirds. I said, as soon as you agree to go thirds, I'll give you the money that is owed for 1/3 of it.
Did he agree?
No, he did not.
Okay.
So I gave him nothing for it. I told him, as soon as you want to agree to it, I'll give you the money.
All right, sir. Your claim of unreturned property, where does that come from?
That was after I had graduated from college. We moved back, and he went to live with
where?
To St. Louis, from Springfield to
Not
St.
the
Louis.
neighborhood in St. Louis.
Oh, it was a pretty bad part of the
You
neighborhood.
went to another bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, whenever we moved back, we got a storage unit. During that time, I think it was about a 6-month period. 2 months of that, I didn't have the money to pay for the storage unit. Now, he had owed me $1,000 previous to that. Mm-hmm. So I figured that he would just, pay it for me, or, hey, I'll get you back some other time.
But there was no agreement to do so. Go ahead.
Right. Well, what had happened is, because I didn't come up with that $60, he took all of my stuff, and I don't know if he either sold it or if he threw it out or what he did with it. But I mean, it was all of the things that I had in the storage unit.
Did you ask him what happened to your items?
I did. And his statement was, you'll never see them again. And that was it. That's what he left me with.
Let me hear from you.
That's true. Well, I mean, the payments he missed were the last payments. And I gave him plenty of time. I told him, I'm not going to deduct, that 60 from what you think I owe you, because I don't owe you that. You have this, probably about 45 days, I'd say. When he wouldn't get it, I sold it.
You told him he had 45 days?
I told him he had 45 days.
And what was his
I'm
response?
I don't know what to do. In fact, that's what he had told him too.
Sir, did he tell you you had 45 days?
He didn't ever say anything about 45 days.
I said, you got about a month and a half.
You don't remember that?
No, he didn't say that.
Sir, you want to come up?
Yes.
State your name.
I'm Chris Taylor.
What do you want to tell me?
Basically, that I had spoke with him on the phone. After they stopped speaking, I, remained friends with Dustin as well. He had told me the same thing. I kind of mentioned that, like, Kurt's going to get rid of your stuff or whatnot. There's pretty much no response there.
Sir, do you recall talking to the witness about it?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
Your counterclaim, $715 for damaged property.
Right. We had a kitchen fire when I was actually in St. Louis. And I lost pretty much all my deposit on it. What had happened, I guess he was cooking chicken and the grease got out of control. They came in after the fire and they made an initial, an initial estimate on how much the damage would be.
Did it list that in the security
here.
deposit?
I have that here. I actually circled it. $300 of the deposit, and I had put down $400.
So how are you asking for $715?
Well, I had put down $400 of the deposit money. He only ended up paying like $135 down when we first.
I paid more of the deposit.
Did anyone do a walkthrough with the landlord regarding the deposit?
Yes, I did.
And he said, pursuant to that I'm going to keep your deposit because of the damages to the stove.
Yep.
In addition, you all owe me $300.
Right. It needed.
Sir, what do you say to this?
That's true. There was a kitchen fire, but I had paid more for the deposit whenever it had come back.
When you put down the deposit, did you all split that?
We split that.
So at the end, when you were moving, the landlord said, I'm going to withhold some of your deposit because of this damage.
Right. And then I had paid him the difference.
he withheld the deposit because of what you did. Sir, did you give him any additional notice? Did you call him and say, okay, I'm giving you one last notice. Otherwise, I'm going to sell this.
I had told him, you have probably about a month and a half. That would have put it right at the end.
Why did you tell your friend he only had a month and a half? He's your friend.
I don't know. I was just angry at him.
Right.
I was.
So you were angry.
Right.
And you retaliated. And your retaliation was to put his things out. $1,000 for the rent he agrees he owes. Let me see the items you allege cost $3,000. And the damaged property, sir, the landlord took a portion out of your deposit and also charged you $300.
Yeah, there's $300. I had another $415
and
too.
You're telling me that this old couch and chair that goes into a college student's room and this old bed that's on brick, it looks like, is worth $3,000. Sir, I'll grant you $1,500 for this furniture, $1,000 for your rent, and you're left with $2,500. Subtract his $715,
$1,785.
and you go home with $1,785. Have a good day. That's my judgment.